Update. My 23 female best friend 23 female laughed at me and said that my husband 24 male was a catch and that I was lucky if she doesn't take him away. I don't know if I should tell him. Original story. Yesterday, my husband Adam and I hosted a small party at our house to celebrate that we are finally vaccinated. Nothing crazy, just us, 8 or 9 friends and a bunch of food and music. Obviously, my best friend Ava was there, alongside her boyfriend and her sister. My husband and I have known them since I was 16, and they were the ones who introduced me to him. I knew back then that Ava had a crush on Adam, but it seems that he never noticed it. She never told him because they never dated. And as a 16-year-old girl, I felt attracted to him the moment we met. But I never tried or said anything due to my respect and friendship to Ava. At first, Ava could go for hours about how perfect Adam was, and how perfect she was for him. And he has always been funny, and every time we were around him, nobody could stop laughing. Back then, I honestly believed that she was the one who was meant to marry him and not me. But they never had a real conversation and he never tried to really know her. We became closer after our mom started to work at the same grocery shop, because Adam used to drop my mother and sometimes he would stay for dinner. I was honest with Ava the whole time, and she told me that she grew tired of how difficult Adam was, because not long after that she started to date someone else. Maybe a year after that he and I started to date too, and we eventually got married. At some point in the party, the guys took their shirt off and started to battle with his pecs. Adam became a gym rat in his early 20s, so he has a good shape, and Ava started to talk about how much of a hottie he was, that he could hug her and break her on the spot, and that she would say thanks, and that the view could be better if it was only Adam without his shirt off. Mind you, I've never been the jealous type, and I thought that she was joking at first, so I said, "Don't you dare, Ava, he'd choose me after all," and made a random pose. But I guess that I struck a nerve because the face she gave me was the most furious one I've ever seen on her. She took my arm and took me to my bedroom to tell me that I shouldn't be so witchy, and that I shouldn't forget that my husband was a catch because I stole him from her. I was utterly confused, and I tried to apologize for hurting her, but she told me that I was lucky enough if she didn't take him away after that, to help him end his charity work. At the end, that hurt me, but I decided to pretend for the rest of the party. Now my husband has begun to ask me if everything is okay. I know that Ava's gonna apologize to me, but I don't know if I should tell him before or after that, because I know he will be mad at her. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Dump your best friend and tell your husband about it from the start. Yeah, that's awful. I've made jokes to my best friend. They aren't at her expense, it is mutual. She jokes too about men I like/date. About men she's dated, but never out of jealousy or wanting to steal her man. Just silly ones about how attractive they are and hyping her up for getting such a fine, perfect man, etc. But what your friend is doing? That's gross. She obviously hasn't gotten over him not falling for her, and she's taking it out on you, which isn't okay. Dump the friend. She will try to make things worse for you. 1. That's not your best friend. That's not even a friend. And it seems she finally showed her true colors. Say thanks and live your life without her in it. 2. Yeah, you should tell him about it. He will need to understand why she's no longer in your life. I have a feeling he probably knew, and he probably rejected her before, and you never found out about it. This. If or when you do talk to your husband, update please. I want to know if he has ever rejected Ava in the past. Believe people when they provide that moment of clarity and tell you who they really are. She's no friend of yours. She has done the math and decided she is better than you. She thinks you have taken something she was entitled to. One day she will betray you. Keeping her in your life will eventually give her an opportunity she has been waiting for. Cut her out of your life. Tell your husband so he knows to be ready for any possible lies or whatever. But you don't have to tell him she's into him. You just have to tell him that she has demonstrated that she's no longer your friend or to be trusted. 100% this. My life experience has taught me that this is spot on. And now for the update. I want to thank anyone who put some time aside to read me and try to help. A few things happened after that, and the last thing I could think of was getting into Reddit so I didn't answer any comments or message. I'm sorry. First of all, I want to answer the big question. 1. When Adam and I realized that we had feelings for each other, I rejected him at first because I knew that Ava had always wanted to be with him. He tried to take me on a date a few times after, and before I said yes, Ava and I had a long talk. She said that she didn't mind because she was already dating someone else, because again, she felt that Adam was being too hard, and said to take my shot. We began to date after that. So back into what happened. Ava came to my house with the cake that next morning and told me that she was drunk, that she was sorry and didn't know why she said what she said. I gathered some courage after reading your comments and asked her if she still had feelings for my husband, and she said that she wasn't sure. But more than having feelings, she felt humiliated because he never even looked at her twice but felt drawn to me. She said that she was still attracted to him, but nothing that involved real feelings. I don't know if she realized that she told me that she wanted to sleep with my husband, but no more than that. I said that even thinking of wanting that was disrespectful, and with everything that she said at the party, I've had enough. She tried to argue about how it wasn't that big of a deal, that it was just overreacting, and to just get over it like I always do and be friends. So I told her that that was the only reason we were still friends, because I always had to suck it up her being so rude all the time in order to maintain the peace. She always has to say something about the way I live my life, and her wanting to sleep with my husband was the last straw. I'd ask her to leave my house, which she did. That same night, I decided to tell Adam what happened, and boy, he was mad as hell. He told me that back then, he knew that Ava had feelings for him, but he never felt the same. And between meeting me and dating me, she started to be more aggressive about it. They even kissed at a party and he stopped talking to her for a few weeks so she would get the message. She never tried anything again, until the night before we got married when she texted him a nude and said that he still has time to back out from the wedding. He deleted all the messages, never answered her, and decided not to tell me because she was my maid of honor. After that, he decided to just end the friendship with her and focus on other things. When she tried something, even if it was just talk, he would just shove her off and leave the room. My husband apologized for not telling me that before, but assured me that he never gave her reasons to make her think he would leave me, and I believed him. I told him that my friendship with her had ended, and he said that he was sorry because he knew how much I loved her as a friend. That's it, guys. Ava hasn't texted or called, and our relationship's finally over. It took me a big one to realize that she wasn't my friend at all, but that's how life is sometimes. I can't believe she sent something like that to your husband the night before your wedding and had the audacity to be your maid of honor. That just blows my mind. That's beyond messed up. OP, both you and Adam should block her number and all social media accounts. Also, after the whole picture trying to steal him before he got married, did she try anything else? It seems she kept her relationship with you to stay close and in contact with your husband, manipulating you each time she overstepped boundaries. Good for you for standing up to it. Make sure to take this as the wake-up call. It is that you guys seriously lack communication skills. Not telling you 100% gave your friend the green light that her actions, while deplorable and not returned, were acceptable to him and thus kept it up. Not telling you didn't help anything other than wasted years of friendship with someone who was constantly trying to get with your husband. You did the exact same thing to him by also not immediately telling him. You guys are supposed to be a team. You got so freaking lucky that this worked out the way it did, and it was pure luck. Neither of you got ahead of it and lied by omission to the other. If she hadn't been a complete idiot, she would have used that info to say that he tried to sleep with her. Then he would have had to admit what happened, which would place a big old nugget of doubt in your mind, and slowly this whole thing would have unraveled your lives. You got by with blind luck, and the fact that your friend was a freaking buffoon who didn't take the opportunity you both placed right in her lap. Be better, do better. Let this lesson strengthen your communication and your relationship. Do not make the even bigger mistake of learning nothing from how you both almost messed it all up, if not for the saving grace of an absolute idiot with the manipulative skills of a toddler. I'm a dude, but if my best friend kissed my wife at a party in the past and sent her pictures on the nights before my wedding, and he was my best man, I can't imagine a scenario where I wouldn't be absolutely livid if she didn't tell me, especially if it kept on with him making advances. Either my spouse loves the attention, something more happened that they didn't tell me, or they seriously need to do a much better job of open communication. Seriously, I would be mad if my partner lets me stay BFFs with a duplicitous snake and didn't even warn me. Who knows what other stuff she might be trying to sabotage behind the scenes. Now for the last story. I may have ruined my fiancé's relationship with her parents with my condescending remarks to her sister. Backstory. I, 27 male, have been recently engaged to a sweet girl named Marina, 25 female, fake name. We met during college and we hit it off. Everything went well in our relationship, and overall there were no red flags, and we've been going strong for 3 years now. Except for the fact that she has always kept me away from meeting her family. In my culture, family is important. So when I knew that I was definitely going to marry this girl, I introduced her to my parents and requested that she do the same with me. She was hesitant, and it caused a few small arguments between us, but I've always respected her decision when she said no. I felt bad for a time, like she was going to leave me for someone better, so I mustered up the courage to have an honest heart-to-heart conversation with her. I know it sounds cheesy, but I told her my plans to marry her, basically proposed to her, while spilling my heart out, and in turn, she then told me why she's kept me away from her family. And the reason was her older sister, who we'll call Eva, 27 female, also fake name. Eva has been the family's golden child. She was pretty, smart, blah blah blah, and has always tried to flirt or seduce Marina's previous partners. She had 3 boyfriends before meeting me, all ending in breakups due to Eva, and one of them even slept with her. Marina told me that when she met me, she felt genuinely happy for the first time in a long while, and that she chose to go to a university far from her family to help with her mental health, as her parents never batted an eye when Eva wronged Marina. I was appalled by hearing about her home life, and continued to listen to her talk about her issues and her feelings. After our talk, she said yes to marrying me. I was surprised since it was so sudden, and I wasn't expecting an answer, but I was also ecstatic nonetheless. And I'll be honest, I was literally jumping for joy when I realized we were getting married. I told her that we didn't need to meet her family if she didn't want to, but she insisted that it was okay, and that she loved her parents dearly and wanted me to meet them to get their blessings. The part that I need advice on. Just yesterday, we finally visited her family as COVID restrictions are lifting, and we were both vaccinated. They were very nice people, and I got along well with her parents. Eva was there as well as she was visiting, very convenient timing. And at first, I thought that she was acting very friendly towards me and Marina. Totally not what I was expecting. But soon she starts to compliment me way more, with the way I dress, my field of work being so lucrative, etc., while totally ignoring Marina and trying to steal my attention from her. I would always try to deflect her compliments and include Marina in my conversations with her. Overall, be friendly to her and her family, while keeping my distance. At this point, Marina was getting visibly uncomfortable. So I politely told Eva that I appreciated her comments, but she should turn it down a notch. She agreed, and I thought that was that. Dinner came around and we were all getting to know each other, telling stories and jokes, and then Eva then says something along the lines of, "It's a shame that you're getting married to my boring sister. I would have totally dated you," and tried to laugh it off. And before anyone can say anything, I immediately clapped back with, "The feeling isn't mutual. I definitely wouldn't date you even if I was single," and started to laugh myself. I think this got to Eva because she got upset and immediately left the dinner table without saying a word. Her parents were furious and said that I went too far and that I hurt her feelings. Marina defended me and said that Eva's comments were inappropriate and how she's always tried to steal her previous partners. Marina and her parents went back and forth, and when it was going nowhere, we just decided to leave. Marina got a text from her parents earlier today demanding that we apologize to Eva, and that her comments were just harmless jokes. Marina said I was joking as well, but they said I was being a condescending a-hole to their older daughter, and they are now blaming me and telling Marina that she is being an enabler to a toxic person. Their words, not mine. I am totally confused on what to do next. I never intended to hurt anyone's feelings. I just wanted to defend my future wife. But now I feel like I've strained her relationship with her parents. On one hand, her sister made her uncomfortable, but on the other, if I just kept quiet, none of this would have happened. What can I do to help mend Marina and her parents' relationship? Now for the top advice. Marina knew this is how things would go, obviously. It's why she moved away from her parents and why she didn't want to introduce you to them. Impressing them isn't the priority. Being loyal to Marina is, and you rock that. Let them be mad and follow Marina's lead in all this. It is her family, and it's not up to you to fix their relationship, which you didn't damage. All you did was proclaim your loyalty to your fiancé and say you wouldn't be interested in your fiancé's sister, which in any rational family would be applauded, and likely would never even come up because all of this is ridiculous, through no fault of your own. You did good and have nothing to be ashamed of or feel bad about. Just talk with Marina and support her. Also, Not saying anything may have been what her parents wanted, but I can almost guarantee you that Marina's heart filled with love over you clapping back at her sister like that. And Marina's the one who matters here. Not only did you completely assuage her fears about her sister stealing you from her, but you actually turned the tables on her sister and made her feel bad for once. Which honestly, she seems like she deserves it more. If you had just played along, that little bit of doubt would probably still be there for Marina. I call this a win. I'd be willing to bet this was an enlightening moment for Marina that she will look back on in the future as the time when she knew for sure she'd found the one. What can I do to help mend Marina and her parents' relationship? Nothing. You didn't break it. Her parents did, a long time ago. This visit just followed the family pattern. Eva gets to say and do whatever she wants, no matter who it hurts. But the instant someone pushes back, Eva becomes the victim and her parents take her side. Could you have handled this differently? Sure. You could have replied with, well, I love Marina, or what a thing to say. But I suspect that Eva would have found a way to be offended regardless. Notice how Eva's parents didn't say anything when Eva said that horrible thing? Here's the breakdown. Eva, awful human being. Marina's parents, enabling A-hats. Marina, incredibly normal and grounded despite her obvious dysfunctional family. If Eva went to bits over you rejecting her, then the real world is going to eat her sorry butt alive. If you both choose to not have her parents or Eva at your wedding, no one would blame you. I'm sorry I said I wouldn't date your daughter if I was single. LMAO, right? If he does apologize, he should say something like that. Or, I'm sorry I shut down her flirting so harshly. Or, I'm sorry I wouldn't date someone who stole her sister's boyfriends. I'm sorry, Eva was so wildly inappropriate and caused me to overreact. So is she apologizing later, or